everyone, welcome to our channel Knowledge of Friends. Subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon for the latest update. आज हम लोग वेब टेक्नोलॉजीज़ की क्लास करने वाले हैं, जो कि क्लास आपका 18 है. ऑलरेडी हम 17 क्लासेस कर चुके हैं. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट्स अ ह्यूज रिक्वेस्ट टू ऑल द व्यूवर्स, please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel. And in the today's class, as I told you about, like we had discussed about unit 1 here. So here we had discussed about unit 1, that is your introduction to web technologies. Then after that we had covered up the unit 2, and that is your HTML, CSS and XML that we had done. And in the unit 3rd we had done your scripting and networking, that is in the 2 parts and in the detail as well. And in the unit 4, that what we had discussed about it. In the unit 4 we had done about EJB and JDBC, and that we had done in the 2 parts as well. Now talking about unit 5, तो ये भी हमने 2 पार्ट्स में ही किया है. पहला आपका सर्वलेट किया और सेकेंड इज जीएसपी. सर्वलेट हमने लास्ट क्लास में, जो क्लास 17 क्लास थी, हमने उसमें कंप्लीट कर लिया है. आज हम जो करेंगे वो पार्ट 2 स्टार्ट करेंगे, जो कि बहुत ही फ्रेश टॉपिक है. एंड पार्ट 2 जिसे जो भी हमारा चैनल फर्स्ट टाइम देख रहे हैं, तो अगर उन्होंने लास्ट टॉपिक्स नहीं भी डिस्कस किए हैं ना, देखे नहीं है, तो वो बाद में जाके देख सकते हैं. अभी जो कर रहे हैं वो नया टॉपिक कर रहे हैं, तो यू कैन गॉन थ्रू विद दैट एज वेल. जीएसपी का फुल फॉर्म की बात करती हूँ, तो व्हाट विल बी द फुल form of that is Java Server Page. So JSP stands for Java Server Page here. So first of all, it's a huge request to all the viewers, please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel, so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. Now talking about Java Server Page, here they can ask you about what is JSP, what are the advantages of JSP over the various server side program. So that would discuss in the detail, and that has been asked of 4 marks in 14-15 as well. So here in the reference towards the Java Server Page, what do you know about it? You just make it out as a sort of a notes, and what we are telling about it, you can just make it out as notes. And if you're not making notes, at least you have to be very clear about it, what we are going to discuss here. Okay, so in that perspective of just saying that if you're making notes, so that's good for you as well for the coming examinations. So in the Java Server Page here, the Java Server Page JSP is a kind of a scripting language in which we can insert Java code along with the HTML elements as well. Talking about the advantages of JSP over the various servlet side program, that what we had tell. So the first advantages we have, the first advantages we have is your over servlet. This is JSP is over servlet here. The JSP is a scripting language, and it is more convenient to embed Java code in the HTML using the JSP. The second we have an advantages, that is over ASP. Over ASP, in the JSP, the dynamic path is written in the Java and not in VB and or in any Microsoft specific language. So secondly, the JSP is a portable to other operating system or a non-Microsoft web server. For the third one, we have as your over CGI. So over CGI here, that is the performance of JSP is significantly better than CGI, because JSP allows to be embedded the Java code directly in the HTML file instead of having a separate CGI file as well. So these were the 3 advantages of JSP that what we have to discuss about it. Now we'll go ahead with the detail of what is JSP, as I told you about it, and what were the advantages of JSP over CGI, and explain the various components of JSP in the detail. So in the regard of it, if I'm talking about over JSP over the CGI, and all these question has been asked of 7 marks question, you can just write it down if you had not visited that. And a Java Server Page, that is a kind of a scripting language, and in which we can embed the Java code along with the HTML element. In the reference towards the advantages of JSP over the CGI, that is, the first advantage is that performance of JSP is significantly better than CGI, because JSP allows to be embedded the Java code directly into the HTML file instead of having a separate CGI file. And the second advantages we have is your JSP support the model, view and controller model in order to separate out the business logic into the 3 types, like modeling, viewing and controlling as well. In the regard of it, if I'm talking about now, we'll discuss about we are comparing the JSP and the servlet here, that is So here we'll go ahead with the difference. As I told you, we'll discuss about the compare the JSP and the servlet here. So here we'll discuss about compare JSP and servlet. So in the case of the JSP and the servlet, here the comparison between the JSP and the servlet. So we'll discuss at least 5 to 6 comparison between JSP and the servlet. The first comparison is that JSP is a scripting language and that generates a dynamic content, and for the servlet here, that the servlet are the Java programs that can be compiled to generate the dynamic content. Now we'll discuss about the second differences here, that is in the JSP runs slower than the servlet, and in the case of the servlet here, that the servlet runs faster than the JSP. The third difference we have is in the JSP, that is in the model view controller, JSP act as view, and in the servlet, in the model view controller, the servlet act as controller as well. In the case of the fourth differences, the comparison between the JSP and the servlet we have, that is JSP can build custom tag, and for the servlet here there is no facility of creating the custom tags as well. In the fifth differences is that JSP can directly call Java bean, and the servlet have no facility of calling the Java bean. And for the sixth differences we have is it for the JSP, that is it is easier to code in Java JSP, and for the servlet here, that is the servlet are basically the complex Java program. This is all, and now we'll discuss moreover about these were the 6 differences that we had discussed related to the JSP and the servlet. Now we'll discuss about the Java server page overview, and where they can ask you about the question, that is what do you mean by the JSP, explain the architecture of JSP and how JSP provide better performances. This is of 6 marks. And another question they can ask you is what do you mean by the JSP processing and how Jsp pages are handled. So this has been asked in the 5 marks question paper. Now we'll discuss that is JSP server page overview in the detail here. That is your Java server page. JSP is a kind of a scripting language in which that can be embedded Java code along with the HTML element, and the Gsp page that can be processed using the Jsp container only, and following are the steps that need to be followed while processing the request for the Jsp pages. The first is that the client makes a request for the required Jsp page to the server, and the server must have Jsp container so that the Jsp request can be processed. And for instance, let the client make a request for like xyz.jsp page here, and in the regarding of that, the second we have is your that is a processing request for the JSP page. Like on receiving this request, the JSP container searches and then reads the desired JSP page, and then this JSP page is straight away converted to the corresponding servlet. Basically, any JSP page is a combination of template, a text, and a JSP element. Every template text is translated into the corresponding println statement. Now we'll discuss for an instance here, and that is for an example. That is a sort of an example here that we will discuss here. That is your here that is that I will write it down. So here we will be having it like in the same case, that is your HTML head, then title, demo, then of course the title tag close as well. Okay, and for this here that it will get like out.println, that is your for that that is your HTML, and for here that is your out.println, that is your head, and then of course that out.println title, demo, and then demo tag close. So this is a for every JSP element is converted into the corresponding Java code, and this phase is called the translation phase, and the output of the translation phase is a servlet. And for instance, our xyz.jsp gets converted into xyz servlet .java, and this servlet is then compiled to generate the servlet class file, and using this class the response can be generated, and this phase is called a request processing phase. The JSP container that execute the servlet class file requested page is then returned to the client as a response here, and that what it deals regarding. And after that we have a JSP processing here. In the case of the JSP processing, there is the following process here, and as you can see here, this is the client. This is JSP container. This is server. First I will make a whole diagram, then I will be telling you. This is the Java XYZ JSP that reads. This is the JSP page that reads and that go to the server where the JSP containers has been given it on, and after that the client requests for XY here, they request for XYZ dot JSP file. Okay, this is the first process, and after that here that we have is the another one, and that is in the regard. This is the first step as I told you about it, and the second one is from the JSP the server. This is where it contains the JSP server container. It generates XYZ servlet dot java. This is the servlet here, and this both two is your translation phase, and that is the second phase, and then it gets compiled, and it gets compiled with XYZ dot servlet dot class, and where this is the request processing phase here, and this is the third phase. So here this is the request xyz.com, that is a gets compiled, and that is a request processing phase. This is the third phase here, and it will go to the again, that is servlet, and that is the fourth step, and that is execute. Okay, and then after that from the servlet here, it will go to the client, and that is the fifth step. Response is to client response is sent to the client here. So these were the architecture where it forms as JSP processing. This JSP provides a better performances, like JSP allows to embed the Java code directly in the HTML file and generate the content dynamically, and this helps to enhance the performance of JSP as well. Now we'll discuss and describe the anatomy of the JSP page. Anatomy of JSP page क्या होता है, that what we have to understood about it, and then we'll go ahead with the JSP code as well, that it will be get to know you. Anatomy of the JSP page here, that is a JSP page is a simple web page which contains a JSP element and a template text. Now for that, the template text that can be scripting code, and such as like HTML, WML, XML, or a simple plain text. Various JSP element that can be an action tag, custom tag, and JSTL library element. These JSP elements are responsible for generating the dynamic content as well. Now we'll talk about the JSP code in the reference to the anatomy of a JSP page. So here that we have to discuss, that is page language equals to content type text slash HTML. That is your JSP element. Again, and for that After that we have an that is a HTML, then head, then after that we have a title, therefore for template, text, then title tag close, head tag close, body bg color gray, then h1 tag twinkle twinkle little star, h1 tag close, it is a template text. Then for the h2, how I wonder what you are, h2 tag close, h3, that is your li basically, that is like a diamond in the sky, then a light tag close, then p tag close, that is out dot print Jsp is equals to HTML and Java. This percentage tag close as well. Now we'll start the paragraph tag as well. Open a p tag, that is a we had opened and we had closed that, and then we'll start with the h3 tag as well. That is today's date is new date, this is Jsp element, h3 tag close, then body tag close, this is a template text here as well, and then after that we have an HTML tag. When Jsp request gets processed template text and the Jsp elements are merged together and sent to the browser as a response. Now we'll talk about the first Java server page, that is an example for the first Java server page, that what we have to deal with as well. So in the case of the first Java server page that has been asked in the 3.5 marks, and that the question they can ask you is what are the steps for the running Gsp program in Tomcat server. Steps for running Gsp program in Tomcat server. So now there are 4 steps that what you have to deal with, and that is your step 1. In the step 1, that you have to create a Jsp code and save it using the file name extension .jsp. Step 2, here that you have to copy your Jsp file to the directory and the named web apps. This directory is present within the Tomcat directory. Now in the step 3, start the Tomcat server by typing the command startup. Step 4, here that you have to open some suitable web browser, type the path for your Jsp code and write the prefix http dot that colon and then slash localhost, and in the regard of it, note that localhost is the default DNS for the Tomcat web server. Now we'll discuss a simple Jsp page for displaying the message. This is my first Jsp page. For that we have to create we have to write a program, and for that we will do in the 4 steps, and that is you have to we have to follow the 3 steps to get the Jsp page displayed. So I'll write it down here. write a Gsp page for displaying the message that is, this is my first Jsp page. Okay, now we follow these steps to get the Jsp page here displayed, and that what we have to discuss as well. So here we'll discuss about it, and we of the following we follow the these steps to be get Jsp page displayed. And for the step 1, that what we have is your, in the step 1, that is your hello dot Jsp, and we are the first of all open some text editor like notepad and type the following code that we are going to write. That is @page language equals to content type text /html, and then after that %@ page import equals to java.util %HTML tag, then this is basic Jsp page title Jsp demo, body, then start with displaying the message, on the browser, then %sign like out dot println, this is my first Jsp page, then body tag close, HTML tag close. Now for the second step, another one, and that is your second step, that to create a separate directory at the path that is your C/your Tomcat directory and /web apps/Jsp examples, as to store the above code in the newly created directory. That is will be your second step. And for the third step, that you have to start the Tomcat web server, and the fourth step is you have to open some suitable web browser like Firefox or Internet Explorer. Type the path for the Jsp page using the prefix like HTTP and /localhost, that is your port number, and /Jsp page. That then you can open that, and you will get that this this is my that is your Jsp page. Whatever you write, it will be printed like that only. So after that, we'll discuss the implicit objects. What were the implicit objects and what were the use of implicit object, that what we'll discuss to here. And in the regard of it, you have to be very clear about it when you are going to with any of the topic, because if you had gone through with the topics and you don't know anything, so that means that you had not focused on, and that is very important, because this has been asked like what are the implicit objects in the JSP, and that has been asked in the many times of 10 marks, 2 marks possibly. And even though they ask you about explain the brief about JSP object with relevant examples and what were the implicit objects available to the JSP pages and explain, and 5 marks or 4 marks. And in the case you have to explain for the implicit object here, that is the implicit objects are the predefined variable used to access the request in the application data. And in the regard of it, the implicit objects are preferred variable used to access the request in the application data, and these objects are used to the scripting elements like following as is a list of the implicit object, where we'll discuss about the variable name. The second is your class interface, meaning that I will be telling you, and you can just write it down if you are going to make notes as well, and the sample method I will be telling you as well. Okay, so these were the 4 columns that you have to make for the first variable. If I'm talking about, that is your application. The application of a variable name, that is your java.servlet, and the class and the interface name, that is your java.servlet.sr servlet c on text, or for the meaning, this is an object that provides a resource shared within the web application. And for the sample method, that is your log, or get server info, that is the sample method here. Now for the second one, we have config. For the config here, that is the class and interface javax dot servlet c, that is config. And in regard of it here, that the meaning of this is that it helps in passing the information to the servlet or the JSP page during the initialization. And for the sample method that we have is your get int parameter and get servlet name as well. Now we'll go ahead with the another one, that is your request. In the request here, the class and interface name is your javax.servlet.http servlet request. Meaning is that it provides the method for accessing the information made by the current request. And the sample method is your get content length, or get length local addresses, get at server name. These were the sample method. Now for the after the request, we have the response. In the response here, that is the class and interface that we have is your javax.servlet.http or http servlet response. The meaning for this is it provides the method related to the adding cookies, sessions, and setting headers. And the sample method is used that add cookie, add header, flash buffer, get content type, or set content type as well. Now we'll talk about another variable, that is your out. In the out here, that is the class and interface name we have is your javax.servlet.jsp writer. And the meaning for this is it provides the method related to input output. And the sample method is your clear new line as well. Now we'll talk about out. Then we have a page here as well, and in there, that is the class interface is your java.land.object, and the meaning is that this variable is assigned to the instance of JSP implementation class, and it is rarely used variable here. Okay, now we'll talk about the another one, and that we have here is your page content, page context. I will write it down. For the page context, if I'm talking about for the page context, we have that is your javax.servlet.jsp page context, and the meaning for this is it provides access to the several JSP page attribute. And the sample method is your get page, get request, get response, get session as well. Now after that, we have a session. And for the session here, that is your javax.servlet.http or http servlet as well. And in the regard of it, if I'm talking about, and the meaning is that this variable is used to access the current client session. And the sample method is your get id, get creation time as well. Now we'll talk about the exceptions. The next is your exception. The case of exception, and the class and interface name we have is your java.lang.throwable, and the meaning is that this object is for handling the error page and contain the information about the runtime error as well. Now we'll do a sort of a program that is following example. Make a use of the implicit object variable that is your page, and for that the script demo.jsp. .jsp. Skip demo.jsp. If I'm going to use that, we have as your %@ page language equals to Java, that is your here in the regard of it, that is your text/html, then html, head, title. For the case of the title here, then after that we'll write it on introduction. 2, we will close the title tag. Then we will close the head tag, and then start with a body tag as well. Then we have h1 tag. Then of course the %out dot JSP is very interesting. Then we have h1 / closing the h1 tag, and that is body tag as well we'll close, and then of course the HTML tag here as well, that will close up. Now we'll just talk about the scripting here. In the case of this scripting here, that they can ask you what is a scriptlet, and explain it with a suitable example that they can ask you in the reference towards the scripting here. So in that you have to understand about it, that the code that appears between the % like we are going to make it that deliberates is called a scriptlet, and scriptlets are nothing but the Java code enclosed within these 2 tags here. Okay, and for that sake, after that we have to continue with the scripting, like they can say that everything other than the JSP statement is the JSP is called to be the template text, like for example if I'm talking about this, that is your template text.jsp, and for that we have %@ page language equals to Java, content type equals to text/html, then HTML, that is your title, demo for template text, then head tag close, body peachy color, that is your gray, then h1 tag, that is twinkle twinkle, little star, h1 tag close, then h2 tag as well, like how I wonder what you are, h2 tag close, then like a diamond in the sky. Then paratag close. Out.println, that is your Jsp is equal to HTML and Java. Then p tag close, then body tag close, and as well as the HTML tag close. Now we will discuss about moreover with regard of it, and that is to understand, explain with suitable examples the manner in which the declaration are made in the Java JSP, that we will discuss here. And in that form, what we have to discuss is all related about like in the case that the Jsp page that we write in is turned into a class definition. So when we declare a variable or a method in Jsp include declaration tag, and we declare the static member, instance, variable and method inside the declaration tag, and syntax of the declaration tag, that what we have to use it. So syntax of declaration tag here, that is, for example, if I'm going to discuss, and that is your HTML head, title, Jsp declaration demo, title tag close, then head tag close, and then of course the percent, that is your string message, like it is equals to hello, that is your percentage. Then we have a body tag, then of course message is, that is your percentage out.println, that is your message, that is your percent sign, and then of course we have a tag. Then we will end up with body tag, and of course we will close the tag HTML. So now we'll going to discuss write a Jsp script to display the appropriate greeting message for the morning, noon and evening, and make use of the function use of reading system time. So here Jsp script to display appropriate greeting message for morning, noon and evening. Make use of function used for reading system time. So now we'll discuss for that as well. And here after this we have percentage sign at the rate page, language equals to Java, content type equals to text/HTML. Then we have percent at the rate page import equals to Java dot util dot abstract, that is and then percentage sign, a string show time, then start curly bracket, that is your date, d equals to new date. String message equals to hello. If d dot get hours less than 12, start curly bracket, message plus equals to it's morning now. Closing curly tag, else if d dot get that is your d dot get hours less than 18, then starting curly tag, that is your message plus that is equals to it's afternoon now. Closing tag, and then else, then after that if else, and after else we will open another tag, that is your message plus equals to it's evening now. Then closing tag, then return message, closing tag as well, and then after that return message, closing tag, and percentage tag close as well. And then after that we have an HTML tag, and for that after that we have an HTML tag, then head, and after that we have your title, that is your date demo, title tag close, then head tag close, then body tag start, then h3 tag, that is your percent equals to show time, that is your h3 tag close, then body tag close, and of course HTML tag close. So these were the tags that is you have to open, and then after that you have to be close to. And after that here in the above program we have a used an object of date, and using which the get hours function is invoked, and appropriate the message will get displayed on the web browser using the system time as well. Now in that standard action we will talk about what were the standard action used and why it is used as well. In the standard action, what were the different types of standard action tags used in GSP, that we'll discuss here. That is your standard actions. So in the case of the standard action, what were the different types of standard action tags that is used in GSP, that also we'll discuss here. In the case, the standard actions are those actions that can be defined by the GSP specification itself, and following as a list of the standard action as well. The actions element and the description that we'll talk about. Action element I will be telling you, and the description as well I will tell you, but you'll just write it down if you are making notes, and if you're not making notes you can just gone through with that what I'm telling about, and you will get to know okay, what were the action elements that is used for. The first action element we have is a GSP use bean. So here this in the description, this tag is used to initiate that instantiate the object of the Java bean. The second we have is your Jsp set property, and this tag is used to set the property value for the Java bean. And third one we have is your Jsp get property. This tag is used to get the property value from the Java bean. The next is your Jsp Include. This tag works as a subroutine. It includes a response from the servlet or Gsp when request is being processed. The next is your Jsp Parm. This is for adding the specific parameter to the requested request. This tag is used, and normally this tag is used inside the Jsp Include or Jsp Forward. Now we'll discuss moreover related to the what are the difference between the forward and the sender redirect tag and the Gsp. Even though that we had discussed about it, we'll go ahead in the detail. So here we'll go ahead with another one, that is what is the differences between the forward and the send redirect tag in the Gsp. The Jsp forward is actually a call to the HTTP server request, that is your forward string URL, and which passes the request object with the server to the either of the servlet or the Jsp page. The new servlet or the Gsp page that continues to process the same request, and the browser is not too aware of the fact and that more than that of one servlet or a page is involved, and in the other world the client is not aware that the request is being forwarded anywhere. In the case of the send redirect request is to transfer to the another resource to the different domain or a different server for the further processing, and when you use send redirect container, transfer to the request to the client or the browser, so the URL given inside the send redirect method is visible as a new request to the client. And for that we have to explain the action tag used to access the Java bean for the Jsp page with example. And for that we have, like, for this using interacting Java with Java bean components, and the Java Jsp uses the Jsp use bean action tag, and the declaration of the bean as the Jsp pages as specified below. And for that we have here that is bean, that is your ID equals to bean name, that is your class equals to class name, and that is your scope equals to page request, that is your session and application. And here the ID attribute specifies the name of the bean, and scope attribute specifies where the bean is stored, and the class attribute specifies the fully qualified class name as well. Now we'll discuss about the directives. So here the directives, they explain the various JSP directives with a suitable example that have also been asked in the 7 to 10 marks, and most of the time they had asked about 5 to 10 marks as well. And the JSP directives control the processing of the entire JSP page, and it gives the direction to the server regarding the processing of a web page. And in the regard of it, if I'm talking about here, so in this references like syntax, if I'm talking about the syntax here, so here that we have is a percent @ directive name attribute name equals to value attribute name equals to value. Okay, so here with the regard of it, and if I'm talking about the directive, that we have is your, this is of 3 types that has been further divided as well. And the first we have is your page directive, the second we have is your include directive, and the third we have is your tag-lib directive. So these were the 3 directives, that is the page directive, the include directive, and of course the tag-lib directive. If I'm talking about the page directive here, and in the case, so in the page directive here, the page directive is used to provide the information about the page, and various attributes of the page directive is used. And for that sake, if I'm talking about the attribute that are used for the web page directive, we have an 11. So here we'll discuss about it. That is the first we have import, second we have is language, the third we have is your content type for the page directive, and the fourth we have is your extends, the fifth we have is your that is your session, then sixth we have is your buffer, seventh we have is your that is your auto flash, and the eighth we have is your is thread safe, and then of course the ninth we have that is your ninth we have is your that is your info, the 10 we have is your error page, and of course the 11th we have is your error page. So these were the 11 that comes under the page directive here, that will discuss a sort of a program as well, and here and sort of an examples. And for the include and for include here, that I will discuss about for the example as well. But in the include tag, that is an include directive tag is that include a directive tag is to copy the content of one JSP page to another, and it's like including the code of the file into the another. And for that the code, for example, the code we have is your like in the sense that is your percentage @ include file, that is your include file equals to calculate Jsp dot Jsp percentage sign. And for the tag-lib directive here, that directive basically allows the user to custom tag in the JSP, and the custom tag are those which are created by the user. And for that we have is your the % tag-lib, that is URL, that is your URI equals to my tag-lib, that is prefix equals to sample tag %. So this is used here and for the tag-lib as well. Now we'll discuss a sort of that is your page directive. We'll discuss for examples here. we have to discussed about the current tag, and as well as we had discussed about the page directive as well, as you can see here. So we will be going to discuss about a JSP program to display current date. So here for that we have to write it down, and for that sake we have to date demo dot JSP. Then after that @ page language equals to Java, content type equals to text/HTML. Then of course we have @page import Java .util abstract HTML body, that is today's date is $sign equal new date to string, that is your body tag close, and as well as HTML tag as well as close. Now after that we'll discuss moreover the another one, that is your develop a simple JSP application that accepts user's age and displays a message according to the following rules. And that is your the first that should be the age is less than 15, messages you are a kid, and age between 16 and 14 then you are young, and of course age above 40 you are old. So that will do it, and that has been asked one time in a 5 marks question paper. So let's go ahead with the question here in the detail. That is develop a simple JSP program, JSP application that accepts user's age and display a message according to the following rules. The first we have is your age less than 15, message you are a kid, age between you are young, age above 40 you are old. So now here we'll discuss step by step, and the step 1 we have here is to create an HTML document that allows you to enter a value for a age. And for step 1 that we will be doing, and we will be writing a HTML program here, that is starting with the HTML tag, then we have head, then head tag close, then body, then form method equals to get action equals to age message dot JSP, then strong enter age, and strong as well, input type equals to text, name equals to age, then of course break. Then after that, input type equals to text, name equals to age, then of course break. Then after that that is your interpretized submit. Here we'll be having it after that. Here we will be doing an input type equals to submit, value equals to enter, then form tag close, body tag close, and of course HTML tag close. Then after that we have a step 2, and that is the Jsp code to be asked to follow. That what we have to do it, and that is your step 2 here, and that will be age message dot JSP, and that what we have to do it. And in that we have to write it down like HTML body %@page language equals to Java, content type, that is your content type here, and in that content type equals to text dash HTML, and that is your percentage as well. Then %@page import equals to Java dot input output strict %sign, and then after that, starting with a %sign, string message equals to, and string age, int age equals to 12, then age equals to request dot get parameter, that is age, then age val equals to integer dot parse int age, and if age val is less than 15, then message class that is equals to you are a kid, and if age val is greater than 16 and age val, that is your value, is less than 40, then message class equals to you are young. Okay, and the third case, that what we have to do it, if age val is greater than 40, then message class equals to you are old. Out.println that is your h3 tag plus message plus that is your h3 tag as well as close. Then of course the percentage sign closing, and then body tag close, and of course the HTML tag as well as close. So this will be the end. Now we'll discuss, moreover there are new more topic as well that to discuss, but that will go too long, and that I don't want to be the lecture to be that long and you are get bored, or you are not going all these and so of course after that we'll start discussing about the custom tag libraries, and then after that with the short answers and as well as in the detail of the core tag and the displaying output. That will start with that. And first of all, it's a huge request to all the viewers, please go through with the subscribe button, and please like, share and subscribe our channel so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. And for that, sure, thanks for all those subscribers who had subscribed to our channel, because we had reached 2k subscribers. So this is a very huge thanks from my side. As in the web technology, we had ended up with doing our unit 5th, and we had ended up with unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4 and unit 5. In the first unit 1, that is your introduction part, and that in the introduction part, introduction and the web development strategies, history of the web and the internet, protocols governing web, writing a web project, connecting to the internet, introduction to the internet services and tools, and introduction to the client server computing, core Java, introduction, operator, data type, variables, array, methods and classes, inheritance, package and interfaces, exception handling, multi-threaded programming, input output, Java applet, string handling, event handling, introduction to AWT and AWT controls and layout manager. That what we have to discuss about in unit 1. In unit 2, web page designing, here that is HTML, list, table, images, frames, forms, CSS, document type definition, XML, DTD, XML schemas, object model, presenting using XML, using XML processors, DOM and SAC, and a dynamic HTML. But in unit 3, what we have to cover up is your scripting and networking. In the scripting part, that is your JavaScript, introduction, document, form, statement, functions, objects, introduction to Ajax. And the second part, that is your networking, is your init addresses, factory method, instance method, TCP IP, client socket, URL, your connection, TCP IP server, socket and datagram as well. And the unit 4, that we have to discuss about enterprises, Java Bean, that is JDBC, that is Java database connectivity, marching data from the multiple tables. And enterprises Java Bean that is preparing a class to be a Java Bean, creating a Java Bean's properties, types of bean, stateful session bean, stateless session bean, and of course the entity bean. And JDBC here, that is your joining, manipulating the database with the JDBC, prepared statement, transaction processing, stored procedures. And in the unit 5, what we have to discuss about the servlets and Java server page, that is JSP. In the servlet, we had cover up servlet overview and architecture, interface servlet and the servlet life cycle, handling HTTP GET requests, handling HTTP POST requests, redirecting the request to the other resources, session tracking, cookies, session tracking with HTTP servlet as well, session as well. And after that, for the Java server page, that is JSP. The introduction we had done, Java server page overview, and a first Java server page example that we had done, implicit objects and scripting, standard actions we had done, directives we had done, custom tag libraries will start with the next class, and hopefully we'll end up with that as well. And hopefully the next class will be the last class of web technology, where we'll discuss more of the important points as well of web technology. And first of all, it's a huge request to all our viewers, please go through with the subscribe button, and please like, share and subscribe our channel so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well, and you will get all the videos, and whatever the subjects you are required of and you need of, you will just comment on and we will be surely provide you that. And thanks for subscribing us. Hope you enjoy this video. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and give a suggestion on the comment box. Thank you.